What's going on, guys? Tyson, Enzie here. In this video today, I want to teach you guys how to start tracking your nutrition, counting your calories, how to set your macros, and finally how to make adjustments so everything you're doing is actually working towards your goals. So if that seems something that would be beneficial to you, something that interests you, let's get right into it. So the very first thing that we need to talk about is what do you need? So first thing, you need an app. So the app that I like to use is MyFitnessPal. You can use any app, something similar, but something that you can actually track your calories on. So get an app. Number two is you need a food scale. So we actually need to be able to weigh out our portions. So you can go to Walmart, Superstore, Amazon, whatever you want, and you need to pick up a food scale so we're actually accurate with our portion sizes. And the third one is a weight scale for yourself. So this is another thing we're gonna use for data, basically to collect, to see trends. And then later on, it's something we use to actually make adjustments to make sure we're on track to get closer to our goals. So those are the three things. You need to get an app, you need to pick up a food scale, and you need to pick up a scale to weigh yourself, and then we can move on to the next step. So now that you actually have everything you need, it's literally just time to get to work. And it can seem like a pain in the butt in the beginning, it can seem tedious, but counting your calories it's important. What gets measured gets improved. It's just like if you want to talk finances, if you want to save more money, you need to know where you're spending money. And the only way to do that is to look at what you're spending money on. So what gets measured gets improved, and that's why we do this. We need to track our calories. And over time, it gets a lot easier, I can promise you that. But you just need to start, you need to make a habit out of it. And it also gives us our baseline for us to actually be able to make adjustments and make sure you're doing what you need to do. If we don't have a baseline, it's very hard to know what you need. So again, just start tracking, make it a habit. We can start to see how much you're consuming, what the macros look like, and then we can start to make adjustments. So for the first few days, first week of tracking, I really wouldn't change much about the way you're eating. If you want to try to make healthier options, go for it. At the end of the day, all we're trying to find is your baseline. How much are you consuming and what are the macros? So this doesn't need to be overcomplicated. At the end of the day, let's start getting used to using the app. Let's start not getting frustrated with it, not thinking of it as being tedious, just having a positive mindset about tracking food, because you know in time, once we can make adjustments, it's going to be one of the reasons why you get closer to your goal. So the first week or so, don't stress too much about what am I eating, how much am I eating, just track it and then we can go from there. So you actually have two options when you start using MyFitnessPal. The very first one is you can search the foods you're having, and you want to be as descriptive as possible because there are so many options within MyFitnessPal. So be descriptive with it. Like if you get it from Costco, put chicken thighs from Costco. And then when you actually click on it, there's probably again going to be multiple options. So you either use your best judgment as to if those calories and macros seem legit, or literally Google it. Say in 6 ounces of chicken thighs, how many calories should there be? And find the option on MyFitnessPal that seems the most legit. Option number 2 on MyFitnessPal is actually just to scan the barcode on the food. So that can be super easy. That's like on your eggs, turkey bacon, toast, anything that has a label, you can scan it and that's it. It's going to stay in MyFitnessPal for, I don't know, forever, but quite a while. So you actually don't have to scan it. You don't have to search it in the future. It's in there as soon as you type in, if you're searching for bread and you've already scanned it, it's already in there. As soon as you type in BRE, bread, the one you used is popping up. And then all you have to do is put your serving size in. Did you have 2 pieces? Did you have 2 eggs? Did you have 200 grams of rice? That's all you have to do. Counting calories isn't something you have to do forever, but if you never track calories, just like if you never budget your money, you have no idea what you're doing. You can't eyeball food or portion sizes and say, hey, that's probably 200 calories when you've never counted calories and you don't know what 200 calories of rice looks like. So this doesn't have to be a long-term solution. This can be for 1, 2, 3 weeks.
That's a realistic timeline. 11 months, perhaps.
However long you want to until you feel like you've developed the skills of counting calories, kind of being able to eyeball what 6 ounces of chicken looks like, knowing what a tablespoon of peanut butter looks like and all those things, and then you can kind of start to intuitively count your calories. But again, I do believe what gets measured gets improved. So if you are super serious about your results, I would highly recommend you continue to count calories because things change, your metabolism adjusts, and you need to be on point with these things if you're super serious about your results. But again, if this is something you want to do loosely, just start tracking for a week or 2, whatever it is, and it's going to kind of, it might shock you as to how much or how little you eat, or how much protein you eat, or how little protein you eat. So during this first week, as you're getting used to tracking food and everything you put in your mouth, you're putting in the app, another thing you need to be doing is actually weighing yourself each and every morning. So ideally, this wants to be as consistent as possible. So that means waking up and weighing yourself at the same time. If you always weigh yourself in your underwear, always weigh yourself in your underwear. Don't one day weigh yourself in your underwear and the next day get dressed for work and you're wearing all these clothes and you have shoes on. So that's the very first thing. Make sure all circumstances that you can control are the same. That also goes for don't drink anything. Make sure you go to the washroom if possible. So that should be kind of the foundation of your morning weigh-ins, is wake up, be in your underwear, don't drink water, go to the washroom, weigh yourself, and write that number down. That's just more data, just like your calories, for us to track and make adjustments later. Also, while we're on the note of weighing yourself, this can be something that's very hard for people, but you need to know it's just data. And again, what gets measured gets improved. So you step on the scale, you write it down, you forget about it. It's irrelevant to you. All it is it's helping us dictate what our next move is and what adjustments we need to make. That's all it is. So don't let it get in your head. Don't let it define you.
I'm fine.
It's just a number, write it down, move on with your day. And even on top of that, you're gonna have high weigh-ins, you're gonna have low weigh-ins, there's going to be a lot of fluctuations. So now that we have 7 days of tracking your nutrition and your weight, we have a lot of data to use. So what we can do is, we have 7 days of calories we've consumed, so we can add those up for the whole week, all 7 days, total up those calories, and see how much you consumed within the week. With your weight, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna add them all up, and then you're gonna divide them by 7, and that's going to be your average weight, which we're gonna say is your true weight, because we're not gonna count your highest weight, which could have been a crazy fluctuation, as your true weight. And just because you had one really low weigh-in, we're not gonna say that's your weight. We're gonna average them out, and we're gonna see what your average weight was for that week, and that's what we're gonna move forward with. So if what your weight did not go towards what your goal is, so if your weight went up when you wanna lose weight, obviously we need to make an adjustment. If your weight went down when we want to gain weight, obviously that's not working, so we need to make an adjustment. And the first adjustment we need to make is to make sure our energy balance is where we need it. So again, you have your maintenance level calories, which maintenance level basically just means you are not losing weight, you are not gaining weight. So your energy balance is just like this, it's even, where there can be a calorie surplus. So a surplus is when you're taking in less than you're burning. So you're gaining weight, right? And then a calorie deficit is when you are burning more than you are intaking. So you need to align either the maintenance level, the surplus, or the deficit to what your goal is. Do you want to put on size? Do you just want to maintain and work on body composition, because that can be done? Or are we trying to put on weight? So you just need to make sure your energy balance aligns with what your goal is. So now I want to give you some rough guidelines for your macros, okay? So if you're not super focused on performance, meaning you're just like for me, I would call them lifestyle clients. So someone who is an adult and has a job, maybe has a family, kids, or in the future wants to, and you just want to look better, feel better, move better, whatever it is, you just want to be healthy or have better confidence. The most important things for you to know, you don't need to get too crazy, in my opinion, with the macro breakdowns, but what you do want to be very conscious of is the calorie intake. Second is the protein intake. So for your protein intake, you want to have roughly 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein intake. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you either want to have 180 to 200 grams of protein. Those are the two big ones I would really focus on. Other than that, your carbs and fats, I don't think they make a big difference, to be honest. I don't think they will for you. Some people will feel better and enjoy more of a high carb, low fat diet.
Time to carb load.
Some might enjoy the high fat, low carb.
Hey, I haven't had a carb since 2004.
Some might enjoy moderate carb, moderate fat, and that's up to you for kind of trial and error to figure out what is sustainable for you, because that's kind of the name of the game, is if it's not sustainable, it's not going to last. So you need to find what you enjoy, what you can stick to, and that's what's going to work for you. So again, just to kind of reiterate what I said there about the carbs and fats, they don't really matter if you want to have one higher than the other, if you want to have both of them kind of at that moderate level. What does matter though is your fats never go below 20% of your total caloric intake. Again, the protein, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight, will have you in a good range. and then our energy intake just needs to align and start moving us closer to whatever our goal is. One of the final things I'm going to say in this video here is why I think counting calories is so awesome, and why it's also not if it fits your macros. They are very different, and I think people really get it confused what counting calories and what if it fits your macros is. When we really look at it, if it fits your macros, you'll see people like having Oreos or Pop-Tarts and pizza, and that's really all they consume, and all they're really focused on is hitting the calorie goal and maybe even their protein goal, but they can eat whatever they want as long as it fits their calories, which isn't what we want to do. One, because it's called nutrition for a reason, so there needs to be some kind of emphasis on the actual like micronutrients. It's everything that comes within our food. That is so important, and it actually affects your calories out, right? So it's not just about how much you're intaking, because if you're intaking just junk, it's going to have a negative effect on the amount of calories you burn. Where for us, with counting calories, we focus on kind of the 80-20 or 90-10 rule, which basically means 80 to 90% of your total calories need to be from whole food, minimally processed, nutrient-dense foods, and then that 10 to 20% can be whatever you like. And would it be better to 100% of the time have really good nutrition and just always going for minimally processed, nutrient-dense foods? For sure, but I also don't think that's super sustainable for a lot of people. So I would almost recommend or want one of my clients to be 80 to 90% consistent with their really good quality food and have that 10 to 20% of leniency mixing in their favorite foods, just because I do truly believe to make this a lifestyle and not just like a quick fix or a 12-week diet and then you go back to your old ways. I think that the 80-20, 90-10 rule is something that works and you can stick to for life. So that's why I love counting calories. It's different than if it fits your macros. 80 to 90% of your food needs to be quality food sources. So in review, 3 things you need to start counting calories is you need to find the app, you need to get a food scale, and then you need to get a body weight scale to weigh yourself. Next, what we need to start doing is actually tracking our food. Just track everything you eat for a week and to start weighing yourselves in the morning and be super consistent with those weigh-ins. At the end of the week, we can take our total calories we consume for the whole week and we can find our average weight for the week, and that's our data to make our adjustments. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I mean, it's literally just an intro to tracking calories, setting up your macros, and making some adjustments. But this should be a really good place for you to get started. If you've never done this before, I promise if you can start there, at least to the point up of tracking your weight and your food for a whole week, then literally reach out to someone who does this for a career. It doesn't have to be me. It can be a friend who's heavy into nutrition or training. Hopefully they know something about nutrition, but ask for some guidance. Show them how much you ate, what your average weight was last week, and see if they can help you align what you're doing to get you closer to your goal. There's so much good free information out there, guys. So if this is something that you're really serious about, just take the time to start learning some of it. There is so many fad diets and so many quick fixes out there with all these promises, which at the end of the day, they're short-term results. You're gonna get them and you're gonna lose them. It's never sustainable.
There are these weird nutrition bars my mom uses to lose weight. Give me it.
When you can do stuff like this and learn things, create habits that's going to stick with you for a lifetime and is going to give you sustainable results, I think we both know what the option is. So invest in yourself. If that's investing your time, investing your money, investing in someone to help you to get going with this stuff. But really all you have to do is get started, and then you can make adjustments as you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's it for this one. We'll see you in the next one.